Welcome to the Landscape Chronicles, the podcast dedicated to the businesses and the people driving innovation in the green industry. Join us as we spotlight the companies making an impact and sit down with industry leaders who have transformed their humble beginnings into successful enterprises. Get ready for an inside look at the companies and pioneers shaping the future. Here's the host of the Landscape Chronicles, Stephen Gault.
Got a cool show tonight. So we're joined this evening by Mr. Arturo Reyes from Turf Pros Distributors. They're based out in El Paso. And we have Jeffrey Bell, the general manager of Turf Pros here in Dallas. Thank you for being on the show, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve, for having us.
I understand you guys are based out of El Paso, Texas, and I've done my homework here. So give me a rundown and kind of share with me the founding story of Turf Pros Distributors.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for inviting us to your podcast show. We're really happy to be here. Actually, it's a funny story because Turf Pros Distributors started with just trying to find a better solution for our landscaping job that we were going to do here in our home. A little bit after COVID, we had our yard being landscaped. We were installing a beautiful pool, and we were having a lot of issues finding a great product, great service, great installers. We didn't know one zip of turf. We just knew that we wanted artificial turf for our pool area. During that time, me and my wife were state farm agents actually here in El Paso. We always did really well, but for some reason, we just had that itch to find out how we could find a better product, like I told you. And that kind of led us to go online and find out to see what other products were out there besides what they were giving us here locally. And we found a great company out of California. They were able to give us more information on artificial turf. And so that's how everything started from the beginning. We started meeting with them over the phone, having meetings, and it gave us the opportunity to bring those products here to the local market. And so originally during that time also, we were planning to open an office furniture because during the COVID era, there were shortages with furniture. I don't know if you recall that, Stephen, but we had a lot of issues with furniture. We had a lot of issues with product, landscaping products. There were shortages everywhere. And so it was an open market here in El Paso. There was a few resellers, distributors locally, and we were able to bring a really great product to the local market. It was funny because the office furniture business fell through. We already had a lease, a small little warehouse with some offices in the front, showroom type. And it just happened to be that turfs and our vision of bringing that beautiful product to El Paso, it just happened to be in the right time. We really believed in the product because nobody had product like the product that we were going to carry here in El Paso. I think it was just meant to be for us to be in this business, believe it or not, just to help other people beautify their homes, make it sustainable. At the end of the day, our goal is to create memorable green spaces, and that's actually our company model.
That's awesome. You mentioned you were looking for a better solution, and I'd like to dig into who the competition was in your market at the time and why you decided that you needed to go do something different.
Back in 2021, like I mentioned earlier, we didn't have a lot of options here locally. We had a few competitors, which I won't name those companies here in the podcast, but it was just a few of them that were low key. They had been in business for maybe 10 years during that time. And we just had this feeling that we had to bring a better product with really good warranty into the market. Everything that they had presented to us during the search for a landscaper here during that time, it was just the turf looked either old, it looked beaten up, it looked dirty. And those companies, up to this day, they're still open, but we were able to bring such a better product to the market that we were able to grow super quick. We entered the market without even knowing how fast we were going to be able to grow. So from a 1,200 square location in 4 months, we were able to move into a 10,000 square location just because we needed more and more product for the local market. It was so crazy during that time because, like I said, Everybody was looking for turf. Everybody was looking for landscaping jobs. And all of a sudden we had lines outside, people looking for turf because they didn't like the turf that our competitors were carrying. They were just fed up with bad service and bad turf. And we didn't know this. It was just a coincidence. And till this day, we have customers that have been with us from day one.
Were you handling the installation process or were you just handling the supply of the product?
We started just supplying the product here locally. It was more of a distribution business. And then, of course, within a few months, people were just calling us, coming into our location, looking for installations. And we couldn't deny the business. It was just too much business. And we built even an installation team during that time. And it just happened to be that I've always been interested in doing landscaping. And I always told myself if I ever had the opportunity to beautify other people's property, make people feel good about what they have outside, they could enjoy with their family, why not? And it just fit perfectly with our business. And even to this day, we have an installation team here in El Paso. We don't have one in Dallas right now, but that's going to be a different market for us here.
Okay. So fast forward to you've got the market cornered in El Paso. I've seen that in my research, close to 400 Google reviews in El Paso. You've got a 4.9 rating. You've become the 800-pound gorilla in El Paso. I assume that's probably led to making the decision to, hey, we need to make some expansion here. We need to look at growing our market. Help me understand why you picked Dallas opposed to anywhere else.
I guess during the process of being a distributor, we always would hear about Dallas being like the main hub of turf distribution here in the state of Texas. We knew about companies that came from Dallas that would call us offering their product all the time. And I think we just fell in love with the idea of going into a bigger market, a beautiful city. And we just felt that we needed to pull the trigger and just take that plunge and go into a bigger market. So that's what we've done in the last few months.
And so what kind of a success are you seeing since you've made that transition to Dallas?
The success has been really good. They've done a great job with marketing the name, talking about Turf Pros Distributors, who we are as a company. We're more of a family-oriented company. And I think a lot of people really appreciate that. And our goal is to just really get our name out there and the product that we have that we design in-house. I foresee us being, like you said, the 800-pound gorilla in Dallas pretty soon.
Yeah, you guys are clearly on a roll. Jeff, you're our guy here. I met with you. We got together in Dallas. I was incredibly impressed with everything that you had, your operation here in Dallas. You've got a background in the landscaping industry. Give us some information about your background before you got hooked up with Turf Pros.
I've been pretty much in the landscape business for the last 10 years. Personally, I've done turf installs. I've bought turf and sold turf and done installs through my landscaping business. And I was just getting burnt out. I was in the commercial landscape business and with several companies and started applying for jobs. When I saw Turf Pros, it was one of those, maybe they'll call me, maybe they won't. Don't know if I'm qualified or coming more direct from commercial landscape to running retail. And then sure enough, got a call back and HR was great. And we had a great interview and she passed me along to the Reyes and we met them in Dallas and here we are.
The interesting thing is there are a lot of competitors that are in the Dallas market in the turf space. And candidly, I know very little about turf. Arturo, can you share with me what it is that you're doing that's different than everybody else out there in the market?
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, Stephen, a lot of people associate turf with turf. They think that turf is just like any turf. They look at it as just, it's green, right? It's for areas, for enjoyment, for pleasure, for business, for anything, anybody that could use turf. But I think that what we're bringing to the Dallas market or even here to the El Paso market is just the consciousness of people understanding that turf is eco-friendly. A lot of people have the misconceptions of what turf is. We had to break a lot of barriers. Even us being new to the market in El Paso, we still had to educate a lot of the customers with what is artificial turf. they thought that artificial turf was a bad thing. Even now, there's a lot of misconceptions. Is it recyclable? Is it good for the ecosystem? But more than anything, the product that we sell that's different from other products is just going to be the warranty. And then, of course, the product itself. We use the best materials that are out there to make sure that this product is sustainable, it lasts a long time, and they don't have to be recycling turf every 2 or 3 years. It's going to last anywhere from 15 to 20 years.
And you bring up an interesting point. So from an environmental standpoint, how does turf contribute to things like water conservation and eco-friendly practices, particularly in areas like Texas, where we are, that are more prone to drought?
I feel that artificial turf has grown a lot. Turf is helping people realize that we don't have to be wasting so much water. Some of the chemicals that we use are organic to wash it off. And so at the end of the day, people don't have to waste so much water. People are starting to get a little bit more educated about artificial turf, just for the fact that you're seeing it more in commercial properties in people's homes, even though there's some cities in other states that are banning turf for whatever reason. But we're seeing tremendous growth in the artificial turf business, especially here in Texas, because it's so hot. People don't want to water anymore.
Talk to me about what are some of the misunderstandings about synthetic turf? Because you mentioned it. I think it's important to share with anybody that might be listening. What are the questions that you're having to answer for clients and people that are potentially interested in using synthetics?
So I think one of the myths or the bad myths that artificial turf has is, does it get hot? Does it get too hot for people, for pets? Is it expensive to install? And of course, it is plastic. Some of it is recyclable. Some of it's not still. We're in those phases where in one of these days where it might be that all we sell is just recyclable turf that has been recycled before, or stuff that's going to be recycled in the future. And of course, you can use it for many purposes in the future. Even if you remove your turf from your property, you could donate it to the local nonprofit animal shelter. You could give it to a zoo. That's one of the things that I tell people. So I think that there's a lot of myths that are misunderstood. And then, of course, the cost of the installing turf. A lot of the times people think that it's going to cost them $20,000 to install maybe like 10,000 square feet, for example. But they don't see all the other benefits that come with installing turf, like the water conservation, the mowing, the cleaning, all the maintenance involved, everything that comes with maintaining a lawn. At the end of the day, you're going to be saving thousands of dollars because that turf is going to last you again 15, 20 years.
When you take on a new project, what does that process look like from a standpoint of the base that's being used underneath, the selection of turf? How does the customer go about choosing what's going to be the best product?
I'll reference it to laying sod. You pick out your sod based on your needs. Are you full sun? Great, get Bermuda. Are you full shade? Not a lot of foot traffic. Great, here's some zoysia. So when you're picking out a turf, we typically try to fact find. Is it a muddy area? What are your purposes? Is it around a pool? What are your needs and what are your wants? As far as the installation, if you're tearing out a yard, you strip it down, you get your sublayer down there of whatever product you're going to use, which down here we use a lot of decomposed granite, crushed concrete. I know they use a finer screening out in El Paso. And then the option of fabric. Sometimes with animals, it's not that great to have fabric because the fabric will hold the urine in more, but you have the option of doing the fabric. And then a lot of times on the seams, you can either glue it or use staples. You want it as flat and as level and as hard as possible. And then once it's level, just like grass, it's turf. Grass, whether it's real or artificial, goes last. Once that base is done and dry and good, go ahead and install the turf. And then your infill products on top and brushed in.
So are you also using a composite bend-to-board type edging product on the outside perimeters of the installation?
We offer bend-to-board products. You saw our warehouse or our showroom where we've got the tavertine right there in the front samples to emulate a pool or a tavertine backyard. If you saw the stone border around our putting green, those are options too. And that one there around our pergola. There's different types of border options and you can pretty much use whatever.
Your facility was incredibly impressive. Talk to me about this Elite Supreme. Is that one of your top sellers right now?
Here in El Paso, it does sell really well. One of the main points on that turf is going to be the clean cut look of it. The whole point of designing that turf was the pow height. If you notice, the pow high it's for sure over 2 inches pow high. But the look of it and the feel for it is amazing. That's also one of my favorite turf because of the color. And we also have a little brother, which we call the little brother, which is the Elite Light. It's very popular because of the price and, of course, the feel and the look of it. Sometimes people go based on price, so they go towards the more affordable turf, which is going to be the Evergreen Starter. That's a really popular product here in El Paso.
Okay. If I'm in El Paso and I'm looking for the premium product that you have out there right now, what is it?
The premium product that I have in my home, and it's one of the products that, of course, it's one of my favorites also, is the Paradise Pro. The Paradise Pro is the big brother of our Evergreen Pro. I'm sure you have it there in front of you, but the Pow High, again, it's a really tall grass that has just a really beautiful lime color. And then, of course, it's really soft to the feet. And I'm sure you're going to look at it and you're going to see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Paradise Pro right now, and I've got this sample in front of me, and it's got a nice cushion.
Believe it or not, having so many competitors there in the Dallas market, even here in El Paso, but of course in Dallas, there's more competition. Nobody carries that turf. Nobody even comes close to that feel and look and power high that we carry there with the Paradise Pro.
Yeah, this is a beautiful product. Talk to me about the Canine product, because I think that's a pretty interesting thing that you have too.
Yeah, the canine products were designed specifically for obviously canine, right? That's the name of it. But we also came up with a permeable backing. It was designed for just 400 times more drainable than your regular backing, which is your black backing that you see in every other turf. So that H2O flow backing, which we call it the H2O flow, is just amazing. And that product actually was supposed to be in the market years ago, but they canceled it and then they brought it back with a second generation. So we were able to bring that turf back to the market for different reasons. But the main reason is because of people use it for pools. You want it for pets. So if they're using the restroom, or it's going to really just go through that backing and you'll have less of an odor with the life of the turf.
Other products too go to help with the Oxy turf, which is just a spray chemical that you can put down to help with the ammonia, and then using zeolites, zeophils, or envirofill for the infills really help with the antimicrobial to help the molding and the smell of the urine and everything.
Yes, basically we have different types of infill, and each of them they work for different reasons. We have regular infill that's, I guess, the most affordable or least expensive infill that we carry, which is regular silica for any type of turf. And then it goes all the way to the T-Cool. Actually, it's one of our newer products from our catalog. It's a really cool product because it does help reduce the heat anywhere from 30 to 50%.
What are you seeing, Arturo, as far as the advances in the development of new turf products?
As far as the technology, we have another product which we call the Rhino Blade. It's really just the material that we use for that particular turf. Most of our turf does come with a Rhino Blade, and that has to do with a C8 yarn. It's just a tougher blade that we use. We use more material than most of our competitors. Most of our competitors use a C4 yarn. But when it comes to the yarn itself, we usually use the C8 yarn. It just lasts longer, and you're going to be able to get more of the life of it. We even carry, and I'm sure you have it there in front of you, it's called the Natural. So that turf, we designed it to have more of the honey coming out of the turf and really soft, really natural looking when you install that turf. We have turf that looks very green, semi-green, dark, and then now, of course, the natural color.
I want to ask you, Arturo, because I'm interested in the science behind this. You mentioned a C8 yarn type material. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
The C8 yarn it's not new to the industry, Stephen. It's just that most people, because of the cost and the investment, don't want to use that type of quality as far as for the actual turf, not the backing of the turf, but the actual turf itself. So the C8 yarn is just, it's a tougher, it just lasts longer. And so we're investing more money into the product to make sure that if they buy a 16-year warranty turf that we usually offer in other turf, that it's gonna last more than 16 years. A lot of people or a lot of these companies will not invest so much money in the turfs.
It's a beautiful product. For those that are on the fence about using synthetic turf versus a grass product, what are some of the recommendations and key factors that you think that they should consider that would help them make a decision?
I think, first of all, the long-term investment, a lot of people don't have a lot of time in their hands anymore. Everybody's so busy with work, family. And so I think one of the main things that we tell people is just the investment. If you're going to invest in your house, for example, you want the best tile, you want the best wood, you want the best, or whatever it is that you're using to beautify your yard. It's the same thing with turf. The investment is up front. It goes back to the same thing as the water conservation, the maintenance, all the headaches that come with having a lawn. I don't have to have anybody here cleaning my yard anymore. I could just literally pick up a blower and just blow the leaves out of it. And it's going to look 1,000 times even better than the other part of my yard. Allergies is also a big part of why people are really going towards artificial turf. There's just so many benefits that go with it.
And Stephen, if you think about the second any one of our grass lawns gets a pool of water after a rain, the mosquitoes are out crazy. So you're pretty much eliminating, like Art said, with the allergies, also just the bugs, and not the good ones, the bees that you need for all the pollination, but just getting rid of the nasty mosquitoes and the little gnats and everything. You don't really see that with the artificial lawns.
Yeah, that's a great point. We do a tremendous amount of mosquito spraying here, and I'm sure that's a benefit for people with allergies, mosquitoes, collecting water, stuff like that. Arturo, let me ask you real quick. I want to ask you about the Pro Putt 85 product. I'm a golfer. I do appreciate a fine putting green, and I was super impressed with this product. Tell me more about it.
That Pro Putt 85, obviously that Pro Putt, it has the name for a reason. It's 85 ounces. It's for anybody that wants to have a private putting green in their home. Obviously, if you're looking for something a little bit more detailed, fine, professional, then of course we also carry those other products. But for any regular Joe, yourself or me or my son or even Jeff, I know Jeff is a huge golfer. It's a beautiful tone of green mixed with the darker green. So we love the combination of the colors. And so it's always done super well here in the El Paso market. And so that's the reason why we took it there to the Dallas market now, even though with Jeff's help, we're going to introduce some other putting greens that are going to be very nice also. But that Pro Putt 85, it's a killer. We are going to be offering about, I think, 3 more options. We've never had to offer so many options here in El Paso. Again, you're talking about a smaller market, Dallas being a much bigger market, more people being in golf. People, they know their putting greens more, and I'm sure here than in El Paso. So we've never had that need to offer more putting greens here, but I know in Dallas, we're going to have to up our game just to make sure that we're in the game.
The rollout here in Dallas has been great. Seeing a lot of our clients that are making that transition over to utilizing turf, particularly in the backyards, not the front yards. We're seeing it in the backs primarily. So Jeff, tell me a little bit more about your showroom here in Dallas.
The vision of just having an open floor plan warehouse or a showroom to showcase our product, I think is revolutionary. We have tablets that are going through showing each product as opposed to just a little card. So it's very interactive. Ours is like a Cadillac dealership versus a Kia dealership with our competitors. And it starts with the service too. We have a great product. Why not have great customer service? From front of the house to the back of the house, it's all about the customer.
I noticed how big the warehouse was, and it looked like you guys had a pretty efficient operation going on back there with miles of material that was stacked up. And I couldn't help but overlook one of your Instagram posts. It may have been a TikTok. You were showing somebody else, one of the competitors that was out there that had all their material and it was out in the rain. and you had all your material in the Cush warehouse here in Dallas.
Oh, absolutely. There should be no reason to be storing turf out in the Dallas heat and all the weather conditions.
You've got the setups with the displays, and you've got the iPads that are providing the kind of the intelligent detail about what the product is. And Arturo, I got to ask you, beyond Dallas, what are your plans to move into other markets past here?
Yeah, basically we have that location because Jeff was saying we want it to be the main hub, right? That's why it's a 40,000 square feet location with even more growth within the area, a lot of warehousing there in that area. But we chose that location for that reason because we do want to expand to other cities. Obviously, North Dallas, all the suburbs. Dallas is growing north, south, west, east. So we really want to capture that market and expand just in that immediate area. Just even if we have smaller stores within that area, we're still going to do really well with our product. But ultimately, we do want to expand to like the Austin, San Antonio market, the Houston market.
I think you guys have positioned yourself very well, given the quality of the product that I've stepped on with my own bare feet against some of the other folks that are out here. And I'm excited for you, and I look forward to working with you. Jeff, tell me about how everybody can get a hold of you guys.
Great question. For the Dallas location, we are revamping our website. It's going to be one of a kind. We're going to have a section for El Paso and for Dallas, turfprosdistributors.com. We've got our Instagram page that you can follow us, Facebook. You can reach out to me directly.
Okay. And then Arturo, as far as how everybody contacts you guys out in El Paso, how does that work?
We even have a 1-800 number, Stephen, that people could call. And so it will redirect them to El Paso, Dallas. It's really easy to communicate with us. We also have the info at turfprosdistributors.com. And then, of course, like Jeff was talking about, we're actually making ourselves different from the competition. And I know that's not your question, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of the future stuff that we're doing with our website. It's going to be what I think the top or the best website in the turf industry. And it's going to come out pretty soon in the next week or two. On top of that, and I know that Jeff didn't mention, but we also have a rewards program that nobody has in the industry. We're always thinking about how are we going to be I'm not going to say better than everyone because I don't like the word better, but just to make sure that the customers have the best shopping experience in the artificial turf industry.
Okay. Talk to me about what's going to be different on your website that is going to enhance the customer experience.
It's going to blow everybody's mind. We're really proud to say that because it's going to make it just easier for people to look at our product. You're going to be able to see all the specs, everything that has to do with the product itself.
Yeah, I think we had talked earlier in the show, what separates us, and Art made the point, turf is turfs, all this, but I think what separates us, two things is going to be our customer service and our innovation. I've been here a short time, and I think just our showroom that you've seen has shown that. That's what's going to make us the big dog in town.
Anything that I've left out that you feel is important about Turf Pros Distributors?
I think we covered a lot of the main points as far as, I know this is not like a selling point type of interview or podcast, because by no means I'm trying to sell any product to anybody. It's just, we really want people to understand that the experience that you'll have coming to our locations is going to be the best experience you'll have anywhere, even if it's just buying turf, right? You look at our showrooms, we just want people to come in and just say, wow, like I'm really like excited to buy turf from here. We want to make sure that everybody that leaves our showroom leaves with a smile and understands that we're going to be there if something happens to any of their turf products.
I think you hit the nail on the head. In fact, you took the words out of my mouth. You said it's an experience, and you guys have turned buying turf into an experience for me, even. Coming and touring the facility here in Dallas, it was pretty awesome. It was cool to see all the products, the warehouse, the operation, the full experience with the iPads that were set up and educating me about the different products that you had to offer. I'm pretty excited about what you've brought to the market. Arturo, you've got a great vision, sir. There's no doubt about it. From humble beginnings out in El Paso to realizing that you wanted to go find something that you couldn't find and you since created it. Super cool story, man. I'm so thankful to hear it.
We wish that anybody that listens to this podcast understands that it's not about the sale. It's about the relationship, even with our employees and our customers.
Any closing thoughts, Jeff?
Just wanted to thank you for inviting us on the show. I know this is both mine and Art's first time on the podcast. So we'll look forward to being back. And hopefully this is some informative information for yourself and the listeners.
I had some great takeaways. I've learned a lot. This is a good kind of 30,000 foot view for me of what turf looks like and who the players are that are out there and coming in and making a difference. I'm glad to see it here in Dallas. I know our company's glad to see it here. I know other companies are glad to see it here as well. Arturo Reyes and Jeff Bell with Turf Pros Distributors. Thank you for being on the show, gentlemen. I do appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Stephen, for having us over and hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Landscape Chronicles, where we take you inside the lives of those who shape the lawn and landscape industry. Don't miss the next episode. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And while you're at it, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review.